Welcome to the Become a Modern Day Alchemist, where we explore the fascinating world of manifesting wealth and abundance using ancient Hermetic principles and techniques. I'm 𝗪𝗏, your mentor for this lesson, and today we'll be discussing a crucial principle of manifestation, and that is the law of silence. As modern day alchemists, we possess the incredible power to create our desired reality from just an idea without spending any money. In this free course, you'll learn how to harness this power and manifest wealth and riches into your life. If you haven't yet watched the previous lessons, I highly recommend doing so to build a solid foundation for your journey as a modern day alchemist. So let's dive in and discover the secrets of successful manifestation through the law of silence. As modern day alchemists, we understand that our minds and wills have an influence on reality. While we can consciously create and manifest our desired reality, we also share this reality with others who also exert an influence around it. So when we interact with another person, even if it's just mental interaction, there's an exchange of influence. This is why we need to keep our plans and goals silent. If we mention a goal or a desire to someone else, consciously or unconsciously, there's a good chance that they're going to doubt our plan, especially if our plan looks very differently to what they associate us with. This can lead to their minds working against us instead of for us. Now, when I started my journey way back in 1982, I read a book by 𝗪𝗏, The Greatest Secret in the World. And one verse in this book, it changed my life. And it basically says in scroll 4, I'm not on this earth by chance, I'm here for a purpose. And that purpose is not to shrink into a grain of sand, but to grow into a mountain. And henceforth I'll apply all my efforts to become the highest mountain of them all. And I will strain my potential until it cries for mercy. Now, what I did was I realized at that point in my life that everything that I've done in the past, I've never took full responsibility for all of my actions. And I decided that day that I'm going to change. And I made a commitment to change and to start with this manifestation process. And one of the first things that I did was to write down my goals. But I did not mention this to anyone at that point in my life, for the simple fact that I knew instinctively that if I would go out and tell people that before the age of 40, I would have 6 properties paid in full. That was, by the way, one of my goals: drive a nice car, stay in a nice house, have a great relationships. That no one that associated me up to that point in time with all the failures that I had would ever believe a word that I'm saying or that I wrote down. And for that reason, I kept silent. And it was one of the best things that I ever did. Years later, when I started manifesting that is the time when people started coming to me and say, but how did you do this? And that was the first time that I started mentioning and telling people about the goals and how important that is. But in the beginning, especially when you start this process, be silent and don't talk about your goals. The law of silence is often ignored in today's world, with the rise of social media making it easier to broadcast our thoughts and ideas and goals and desires to millions of people worldwide. However, sharing our goals on social media with other people can be one of the worst things that you can do, as it invites their minds to cast doubt and work against you. Remember, everything is about energy. So when you have got a positive energy and another person or people are going to have negative emotions around that thought that you've got, in other words, that goal that you've got, the chances are that is going to neutralize it. And that is not going to have the effect that you want. Now, of course, there's exceptions to the rules. So if other people already associate you with success and believe that you can achieve your goals, then it's going to resonate and it's going to work in your benefit. But first of all, we need to get there. And that is why it is so important to honor the law of silence. Now, another reason to adhere to the law of silence is that other people might condemn or even curse you, consciously or unconsciously, especially if you do not know how to protect your own energy and your own energy field. If they see us talking about our accomplishments and manifesting materials such as a new car and so forth, then unfortunately something like jealousy leads to negative feelings, and that can lead to undesirable consequences for you. Jealousy is one of those negative emotions that can really bring one down. Another thing that I think that we should consider is the moment that you start broadcasting your successes, also be very sure and be very careful to make sure that you broadcast is the truth. For example, if you say that you can manifest a car and you buy a new car and you advertise this to the whole world, but that car is not paid in full, then you haven't actually manifested that car. You've manifested the ability or the show of having a car. And this is costing a lot of people a lot of energy to maintain, let's call it a pose. Because that pose, there's always a cost associated with a pose. And especially if you start doing this for Facebook following or Instagram following or YouTube following. So make sure that unless you've manifested something and you've got the title deed to that house or that car, not to start broadcasting this to the rest of the world. This is not the way that we should do it, and that is why this law of silence is so important. So as modern-day alchemists, we must stay silent about our goals to prevent others' minds from working against us and to avoid condemnation by jealousy. Instead, we should remain humble and work towards our goal silently. Now, as I've said, there will come a time when you are successful and everyone knows about that, especially those people close to you, or you've got 100 or 1,000 students. Then, of course, it's a different story. So the task for today is to take some time to reflect on your current goals and to consider how much you've shared with others. Are there any goals that you've shared that maybe you should have kept to yourself in order to move forward? Make a conscious effort to work towards your goals silently until you've manifested those goals. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this lesson, and if you found this valuable, please help us to spread the word by liking, sharing, and commenting on this video. And then also make sure to join us for the next lesson, where we'll be exploring another very powerful wealth manifestation technique. Always remember that your beliefs, qualities, and skills shape your future. So take the law of silence seriously and apply it in your life. Thank you for joining us today, and we can't wait to see you in the next class.